Hello there, dear listeners. A very warm welcome to another episode of Special English Corner. I'm your host, Mark. We are so happy to have you with us again today.
And I'm Sharon. It is so wonderful to be back in the studio with you today. Mark, you look like you've been traveling. Your skin looks great and you seem very energetic. Did you go to a tropical island?
Well, Sharon, I didn't actually travel with my body, but I traveled with my taste buds. I've spent the last few days in the mountains of Henan province, specifically in a place called Anhua. I have been drinking a very mysterious tea that gave me all this energy.
Ah, Anhua, the home of Anhua Dark Tea. This is a very legendary type of tea in China. In the West, many people know green tea for its freshness or black tea for its strong breakfast flavor. But dark tea is a whole different world. Some people call it the secret of the East.
You were right. Dark tea, or heicha, is quite unique because it is post-fermented. And today we are going to dive deep into this dark, mysterious, and healthy world. Our listeners have been asking for a long, detailed episode, so today we are going to spend a lot of time talking about 1. The origin, how Anhua became the center of dark tea and the story of the ancient trade route. 2. The geography, why the rocks and the water in Anhua are different from anywhere else. 3. The classification, what is the difference between Tianjian, heavenly tips, the 3 tips, and the famous Fu brick, Fuzhong. 4. The golden flower, the secret magic inside the brick that looks like gold dust. 5. Health benefits, why it's called the stomach's best friend and how it helps with weight loss. 6. Practical guide, when and how to drink it, how to boil it, and why you should never throw away the leaves too quickly.
This is going to be a long journey, so we will keep our English simple and clear. We want everyone to learn some new English words while learning about this amazing tea. If you are learning English, pay attention to the key words we repeat. Grab a cup of tea and let's begin. Mark, let's start with the place. I have pictures of Anhua. It looks like a painting with fog and green mountains. Why is Anhua the only place that can make this specific tea?
It's all about the nature, Sharon. Anhua is a mountainous county in the center of Henan. It has very special soil called Glaucous Rock soil, or Ice Age rock soil. Scientists say these rocks are hundreds of millions of years old. This soil is rich in selenium and other rare minerals.
So the tea leaves are strong and full of minerals before they are even picked. It's like the tea is born with superpowers.
Exactly. The environment is humid, foggy, and rainy. The tea trees love this, but the fame of Anhua Dark Tea really grew because of the Silk Road and the Tea Horse Road. We have to go back hundreds of years in history.
Tell us about the nomads. I heard they couldn't live without this tea.
Yes, in ancient times, the people in the northwest of China, the nomads in places like Inner Mongolia and Xinjiang, lived in a very harsh environment. They ate so much meat, mutton, and milk, but they didn't have many vegetables or fruits because of the desert and cold weather.
If you eat only meat and no vegetables, your stomach will have a lot of problems, right? You need fiber and vitamins.
Precisely. They found that Anhua Dark Tea was their savior. It helped them digest the heavy meat and provided the vitamins they lacked. There's an old saying from the border regions, I would rather go 3 days without food than 1 day without Anhua tea.
That is a very strong statement. But transporting fresh tea from the middle of China to the far northwest was a huge problem.
It was a giant problem. The journey took months. The tea had to travel on the backs of horses and mules over high mountains and through rain. So the tea masters in Anhua developed a way to dry and compress the tea into heavy bricks and logs.
So during that long journey, the tea changed, didn't it?
Yes, the humidity and the natural heat caused a slow fermentation. By the time the tea arrived in the northwest, it wasn't a green leaf anymore. It was a dark, rich, and mellow treasure. This is how the dark tea we know today was born. It was born from the journey itself.
Mark, you mentioned earlier that Anhua Dark Tea has a very special smell. It's not like flowers, it's more like a campfire. How do they do that?
That comes from a traditional tool called the 7-star stove, or qi xing chao. It's a very large traditional drying oven. The tea farmers use pine wood to fire the stove.
Why is it called 7-star?
Because the stove has 7 holes that allow the heat and smoke to rise evenly. The tea leaves are placed on top, and they soak up the smoke from the pine wood. This gives Anhua Dark Tea its signature smoky aroma.
It sounds like the tea is being barbecued.
In a way, yes. This smoking process is very important. It prevents the tea from going moldy and gives it a deep, masculine character. It's the first step in making what we call mao cha, or raw dark tea.
Now, let's talk about the different kinds of Anhua tea. Our listeners might see different names in the tea shop. I often hear about the 3 tips, Sanjian.
Right. The 3 tips are the high-end loose teas of Anhua. They are called Tianjian, heavenly tips, Gongjian, tribute tips, and Shengjian, raw tips.
Tianjian sounds very high class. Heavenly means it belongs in the sky.
In the Qing dynasty, it actually belonged in the palace. Tianjian was a tribute tea, which means it was picked by hand and sent directly to the emperor. Only the royal family could drink it.
What makes Tianjian different from the compressed bricks? Is it made from the very first buds of the spring?
These are the youngest, most tender leaves. Instead of being pressed into a hard brick, Tianjian is packed into traditional bamboo baskets. The bamboo adds a fresh, woody scent to the tea.
What about the taste? Is it very bitter?
Not at all. It's much more elegant than the bricks. It has that slight smoky taste we talked about, but it's followed by a very strong sweetness. It feels very clean and bright in your mouth. If you are a beginner and you are worried that dark tea might be too dirty or heavy, Tianjian is the perfect choice for your first cup.
It's like the fine wine of the dark tea family. It's light but deep.
But Sharon, if Tianjian is the emperor, then the Fu brick is the king of the people. This is the most famous type of Anhua tea.
I have seen these bricks. They look like pieces of old wood or chocolate. But Mark, I have to be honest. When I first opened a Fu brick, I saw tiny yellow spots. I almost threw it away because I thought it was moldy.
You are not the only one. Many people think the same. But those yellow spots are the most valuable part of the tea. In Chinese, we call them Jin Hua, or golden flowers.
Golden flowers? That sounds so beautiful and expensive. But what are they really? Are they a plant?
No, they are a type of beneficial fungus. The scientific name is Eurotium cristatum. It's a probiotic fungus. It's like the good bacteria you find in high-quality yogurt or cheese.
So these flowers are actually alive?
In a way, yes. They grow during a process called fahua, or developing the flowers. The tea bricks are put into a warm room, and the tea masters control the humidity perfectly. If the environment is right, these golden spores begin to grow inside the brick.
So what do these golden flowers do to the taste? Do they taste like mushrooms?
They give it a very special aroma called fungus fragrance, or junqiang. It's a bit like dry wood and nuts. But more importantly, the golden flowers change the chemistry of the tea. They eat the bitterness and the harshness of the leaves. They turn the tea into something sweet, smooth, and very thick.
So the more golden flowers you see, the better the tea is?
Generally, yes. A brick full of golden flowers is considered a treasure. It is the only tea in the world that has this specific beneficial fungus.
Let's talk about the science, Mark. Why do people say Anhua Dark Tea is a bodyguard for our health?
The biggest benefit, as we mentioned with the nomads, is digestion. In China, Anhua tea is famous for being the stomach's best friend.
I've heard it can wash the stomach. How does that work?
Dark tea contains special enzymes produced by the golden flowers. These enzymes help our bodies break down fats and proteins. If you have a big dinner, maybe a lot of fried food or a heavy steak, your stomach can feel very stuck.
I know that feeling. It's very uncomfortable.
If you drink a cup of warm Anhua tea after that meal, it's like a natural broom. It helps move the food through your system and prevents the oil from staying in your body. This is why many people use it for weight loss.
What about other benefits? I heard it's good for the 3 highs.
Yes, in Chinese medicine, we talk about the 3 highs: high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and high cholesterol. Scientists have found that the tea polysaccharides in dark tea are very effective at helping to regulate blood sugar.
Is it high in caffeine? I don't want to stay awake all night.
This is the best part. Because dark tea is fermented and often aged for years, the caffeine level drops. It is much lower in caffeine than green tea or oolong tea. Many people find that
they can drink it in the evening and still sleep very well. In fact, it can be very relaxing for the nerves. Let's give some specific advice to our listeners. Who should put Anhua Dark Tea on their shopping list?
1. The meat lovers. If you love barbecue, hot pot, or fried food, this tea is a must-have. It will save your stomach. 2. The office workers. Many of us sit in front of a computer for 8 hours a day. Our digestion becomes slow. Dark tea helps keep your metabolism moving. 3. The seniors. Because it is warm in nature, it doesn't hurt the stomach. It's very gentle on the heart and blood vessels. 4. The stress heads. If you are a student or a busy professional, the calming effect of the golden flowers can help you stay focused without feeling jittery like coffee makes you feel.
What about kids?
In some parts of China, parents give very weak dark tea to children to help with stomach aches. But for beginners, I would say it's a perfect tea for anyone over the age of 18 who wants a healthy lifestyle. And let's see what's the important part of Anhua Dark Tea in Part 8, Seasons and Timing, When to Brew.
Sharon, is there a best time to drink this tea? Should I drink it in the morning or at night?
That's a great question. Morning. If you have a sensitive stomach, don't drink green tea in the morning. Drink Tianjian. It wakes up your brain but is very kind to your stomach. Afternoon. This is the best time for fubric. After lunch around 2 p.m., a cup of tea will help you process your meal and give you energy for the rest of the workday. Evening. If you want to relax, brew some aged dark tea that has been stored for 5 or 10 years. It's very smooth and won't keep you awake.
What about the seasons? I usually drink green tea in the summer.
Anhua Dark Tea is the king of winter. When the wind is cold and the snow is falling, your body needs warm energy. Dark tea increases your internal heat and improves blood circulation. However, in the summer, many people in Hunan drink it cold. They brew a giant pot, let it cool down, and it is very good at stopping thirst.
So, it's a tea for all seasons, but it's a hero in the winter.
Now we reach Part 9, the art of brewing, the boiling method.
Now, let's get practical. I have a brick of tea. How do I make it? It's hard as a rock.
First, you need a tea needle or a small knife to break off a piece. Don't use your hands or you will just get frustrated. Break off about 10 to 5 grams.
Do I just put it in a cup and add water?
You can, but for the best taste, remember this. Pu'er and dark tea love boiling water.
100 degrees Celsius? No waiting for it to cool down?
No waiting. You need the heat to open up the compressed leaves. But the most traditional way to drink fubric is actually the boiling method, peng cha.
You mean put the tea in a pot on the stove?
Yes. Put the tea in a glass or ceramic pot with cold water. Bring it to a boil. Let it bubble for 2 to 5 minutes. This brings out the deep sweetness and the full power of the golden flowers. The tea will look dark like coffee, but it will taste sweet like dates.
And what about the rinse? I heard we should always throw away the first pour.
Absolutely. We call it washing the tea. Put the leaves in, add boiling water, Wait 5 seconds and pour it out. This removes any dust from the storage and wakes up the flavor. The second pour is the one you drink.
Can I brew it many times?
Oh yes, Anhua Dark Tea is very patient. You can brew the same leaves 10 times or boil the same leaves 3 or 4 times. The taste will change from smoky to sweet to a light woody flavor. It's very economical.
What will we know in part 10? Buying and storing, the living antique. If I buy a brick today, can I keep it forever?
Almost. Unlike green tea, which you must drink in 6 months, Anhua Dark Tea gets better with age. A 10-year-old's tea is better than a 1-year-old tea.
Does it need a special refrigerator?
No, never put dark tea in the refrigerator. It needs to breathe. Just put it in a cardboard box or a paper bag. Keep it in a dry place, away from sunlight and away from strong smells like perfume or onions.
Because the tea will soak up the smell of the onions.
Exactly. You don't want onion tea. If you store it well, your tea will grow up with you. It is a living thing. And let's see what's the important part of Anhua Dark Tea in part 12. Deliver inspiration. Final thoughts.
Wow, Mark, we have covered so much ground today. We've talked about history, science, and even how to cook the tea. I think we should help our listeners with some of the trickier words.
I agree. Let's do a quick vocabulary corner.
Okay, listeners, here are some words to remember. 1. Post-fermented. This means the tea changes after it is made. 2. Compress. To press something together into a solid shape, like a brick. 3. Smoky. A smell like wood smoke or a campfire. 4. Tribute. Something given to a leader or emperor to show respect. 5. Beneficial. Good for you. Helpful for your health. 6. Digestion. The process of breaking down food in your stomach. 7. Enzymes. Natural chemicals that help speed up body processes. 8. Probiotics. Good bacteria or fungi that help your gut health. 9. Aroma. A fancy word for a pleasant smell. 10. Mellow. Smooth and soft, not sharp or bitter.
Those are excellent words, Sharon. Listeners, try to use one of these words today. Maybe tell a friend, this tea has a very mellow aroma. Let's get into part 13, encouragement and final thoughts.
Mark, before we go, I have one more question. Why do you think tea is so important in English learning?
Because drinking tea requires patience. You have to wait for the water to boil, wait for the leaves to open, and wait for the flavor to come out. Learning English is exactly the same. You cannot learn everything in one day.
That is so true. You have to steep your brain in English every day, just like tea leaves in water.
Exactly. Don't worry if you didn't understand every word today. Just keep listening. The more you listen, the more mellow your English will become.
Well, that is all the time we have for our deep dive into Anhua Dark Tea.
We hope you enjoyed learning about the golden flowers and the smoky mountains of Hunan. If you can, go find a foo brick and try the boiling method.
Don't forget to check the study guide we prepared for you in the Canvas. It has all the keywords and a 7-day plan.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Sharon.
Keep practicing your English.
And keep enjoying your tea.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.